I feel like I have no problem like meeting girls and like, having like a sort of like natural dynamic with them. But I think the problem is like I low key just feel like I like pedalize them like too much, especially because like I'm like a very like work driven person. So like if I'm like working a lot and then I have like a little fling or something like come along the way, then I get like, I don't know, it's like I kind of like diverge a little bit. Like I get a little distracted. But I don't really want that to be the case because it's like I'm not one of those guys where it's like, oh, I'm one of one. I need to only focus on myself. I don't think people have to be like that. But at the same time, it's like I want to have like a system where I just like, I can like date a girl, but I don't get so like involved with it and still be like kind of balanced with my schoolwork.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
No.
Like it's just like
I do.
don't
I
know.
mean, how old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay. I mean, bro, like you have a good mindset, right? You're not at a point in your life where you should be dating, to be honest. Like you have a lot of things that you need to like lock in and accomplish before you do that. So what I would tell you is because you do have that mindset of you want to be successful and you also like want to be in a relationship, and when you're in a relationship you give a lot of yourself, that's a good thing. But you have to understand that about yourself and make sure that you're like focusing on you first, and then finding girls that are going to like support you, not like take away from you. You know what I mean?
That I do think
The mic is
honestly,
covered. We can't hear you. Make sure
my
the
bad.
mic is covered.
No. I actually agree with that because it's like, I mean, I personally believe that like, especially in like a college environment, you have like, in my opinion, I think there's like more girls who are like career minded very like early on, right? Like if you want to go into like finance or just like consulting, you have like a lot of women that make up like that majority. So my thought process is like, well, it could go hand in hand. But it is like a fair point because I just feel like, I don't know, I hear so many different things. Like you have your friend, like do you get like FOMO ever when you're like friends or in a relationship, but like you're not? Because I feel like at my current stage in life, I'm like the only one like amongst my peers, like my friends, that doesn't have like a girlfriend. And I feel like at some times it could like kind of give me that FOMO. But then I like remind myself like, oh, you don't really have to like worry about that. You're on like a separate path. But then it just seems antithetical for me to like still get involved in things because it's like, why am I really going to be pursuing a girl when I have like my own career aspirations? But then again, who's to say that a girl is going to be the thing that distracts me? So you make like a good point. It's just that I don't know, like I mean,
You
would
have
you
to
say
change, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your mindset. Like you're looking at it as if you're missing out on something. But the thing is your friends that are your age that should be putting all of their energy into themselves and building themselves and focusing on themselves don't have the same ability to do that you do.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? And you want to know something? There's actually a study that has been done where it shows that men in long-term monogamous relationships, their testosterone levels literally dip because they're not competing with other men. So biologically, your brain tells you, oh, I'm locked in with this girl, I'm monogamous. Your testosterone dips because you stop competing, you become less ambitious, you become less focused, less motivated. It is hard when you're in a relationship to stay locked in. It's hard, right? But if you focus on yourself and you put all of your energy into yourself during this critical part of your life, you're gonna have the rest of your life to be married. You're gonna have the rest of your life to be wifed up and have your honeymoon and do whatever. What you need to focus on right now is yourself, and then basically like finding connections with girls that aren't distracting you, that aren't requiring a lot of time and energy from you.
Well, yeah, I feel like honestly, like my most like favorite sort of dynamics with girls are like my friends who kind of just are like adjacent to the career that I want to do, like the ones that I study with or the ones that I like try to do projects with. Like I feel like there's not really any like sort of like, I don't know, underlying like oh, am I supposed to be like getting at you or some sort of thing? Like, I kind of like the absence of that, you know? Like, I feel like it's more natural, and like it's easier for me to just like have that sort of good connection without it having like any other like implications, you know?
If if that feels good for you, you should lean into that, right? Because when you start comparing, right, when you compare yourself to other people, you become bitter. When you're just focused on yourself, you become better. So that's actually good that you're able to have like platonic relationships with women that are fulfilling to you. And then you're also young and building and focusing on yourself. Like, you're in a very good spot. So I don't think there's anything wrong with what you're doing necessarily. I would say if someone comes into your life that's like that amazing that you need to date and you have a great connection with, don't shy away from that. But what I'm saying is, like, you don't need to be like going out of your way or thinking that you're like missing out on something at this stage of life, because you're really not. You're at a huge advantage having all of this energy to put into yourself.
All right, I see. Although I would say like and this isn't to like say a broader like critique, like it's just my personal opinion, but I do think like men are a little bit like advantaged in the fact that like you can be like a resourceful guy, and that in itself will be attractive to a woman, whereas on the flip side that's not like always the case, which is like a double standard. Like, it's a little unfair, but in the same vein, it's like I think that because of that, you may as well, you know, make use of that sort of inherent advantage, even if it is like a little unfair. Because I do think it's not like fair for women to like really work hard, and it's not something that they could like use as a means to like have those sort of relationships. But I think if we have that advantage, it's like may as well, like, I guess, I don't know, make use of it.
That's a good mindset to have, because a lot of guys have the opposite mindset where they get into this trap of thinking that their resources are going to be the only thing that can help them like find a partner. So that's a good mindset to have. But yeah, bro, like, you need to just focus on yourself and like don't worry about girls, to be honest. Like, that's gonna come, right? Like, all good things in life, relationships, jobs, whatever, like when you're focused on yourself and you're doing the things you need to be doing, those things find you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? So don't compare yourself to other people, bro. Like, do what feels right for you. Do what makes you happy. And I wouldn't just say that to anyone, but you're actually living like life in a very like healthy, mature way. So I don't have anything that I would necessarily tell you that you need to change.
Okay, I guess. I guess I was getting caught up in my own head a little bit. That's just kind of how it like feels sometimes, because you always like see stuff on like social media and you're like thinking to yourself, oh, what am I doing? And you have to remind yourself, well, I'm studying, I'm trying to do research, I'm trying to, you know, just get ahead.
Yeah, bro, I mean, if you fall into the trap of like comparing yourself, it's just endless. There's always going to be someone that has something over you, always. Like, it's not a fun place to be. So if you honestly need to, like, you can take a break from social media. That might help you like get back into like your frame of just focusing on yourself. I don't know, that's maybe one piece of advice. Like, I've done that before too. I'm older than you, but when I was your age, like, I would take breaks from social media all the time for the same reasons.
No, yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I'm it's kind of just like good to hear this kind of, because a lot of like my friends, I feel like it's good that they have a healthy, or maybe not like, everyone has their own path. I can't say which path is healthy and which one should be like the status quo. But I do think that, you know, given that I've seen them have their own little like relationships and stuff like that, I can always just remind myself it's not always like something that has to be the same progress as other people. You don't necessarily have to like do things in the vein of other people just because you want like a similar result. So I think that's a good point that you brought up, because I mean, as often as I like can think about it and like recognize that that's probably the better way to, you know, view things, at certain moments it's just frustrating to like, you know, see, because it's like you really wish in certain instances you weren't working, you weren't studying, truthfully, even if you are like a hardworking person, and you can just like be a part of that like sort of thing that you'd want to be a part of. But it's a very fair point, and I think that, you know, obviously from, if I like withhold that for like a little bit longer, just like a little bit longer, it could be like a sort of thing where I can be in a pretty good place economically, career wise, and then like, you know, options will like open up again. I guess I just have to like accept that somewhat.
The best thing that you can do to improve your dating life is to improve the amount of options that you have.
That's a good point.
So you're 19 years old, you can get into a relationship right now, you can spend 3 years with the person, the relationship will most likely end. Why? Because your prefrontal cortex isn't even developed for another 6 years. You're going to change so much. Whoever you're dating in your age range is going to change so much. You guys haven't finished school. You don't know what cities you're living in. You don't know what careers you're going to be in. There's a lot of things that you have to have in place in order for a relationship to actually work. So what you need to do, if you like, you know that one of your goals is to be in like a relationship, I wouldn't say try to get into a relationship, but I would say is work on yourself so that you can have the best options when you're ready for a relationship.
That's true. Because this is the other thing too. I feel like every time I do talk to a girl, like I try to, at least like romantically, it's always like they're a very like nice girl. They're a very like cool girl. It's never like an issue of their character or anything like that. But I would say that the bigger issue is just the infrequency of it. Like, I don't do that too often, and maybe I shouldn't, but like, you're right. If I want that to be amended, it's more of a structural thing. Like, how many options do I have, and is that a result of, you know,
if you have more options, you're not going to ruminate over if one thing isn't going as well as you wanted it to with someone you're talking to, right? Because you're going to have other options. Not saying that you're talking to a ton of girls or you're being a womanizer or whatever. It's just saying if you wanted to, you could. That you want to have leverage. You don't necessarily want to like be in a relationship and be giving out all of your energy, but you want to have leverage where you could be with someone if you wanted to. That's like the most powerful place that you can be in. Not necessarily being with someone, but having the ability to be with who you want to be with and still choosing whether or not you're going to do that or choose yourself. That's like really what you want, is ultimate leverage. So when you work on yourself and you build yourself up and you have the options, high quality options that you would consider like dating material, you're not going to ruminate over if it doesn't work out with one person, because you know what you bring to the table and you know that most people are going to like want to entertain something with you if you express interest.
No, yeah, you're right. But, you know, I appreciate like all the good insight, you know. I think sometimes I just have to like hear it from someone who's like a little bit outside of that like scheme, you know?
Yeah, bro, you're very mature for your age. Like, I think you're gonna be very successful. You gotta get a head on your shoulders, and the fact that you're like thinking about these things, you're ahead of 99% of people your age.
Well, yeah, it's just, I feel like I'm supposed to like be this sort of way too, because of like, just like I'm trying to do econ, and it's like, it's not the hardest major in the world, obviously, but I'm not going to go and say like which type of major is hard. I mean, all majors can be hard based on what you want to do, but I know for me it's like, it's not necessarily something that comes easy. So if it doesn't come easy, then why would I be entertaining things that are only going to like siphon more of my time, even if those people are really like stand-up people, you know? So you make a good point, and I think I just kind of needed to hear that.
Yeah, bro, you're chilling. You're in a good place. You're young. You have a lot of time, a lot of life ahead of you. Just focus on yourself, bro.
All right. Yeah.
Don't worry about other people. Yeah, bro.